Why am I atheist now? It sounds strange me actually saying that because these cows are so bloody noisy. No, that's not the reason. Well, it's part of the reason right now. Okay. Why? Shut up. Thank you. Why am I atheist? Well, I suppose it's been a long process. My atheism has it's come to me in stages. Stages of doubt, stages of listening to reason. And it's kind of, in a sense, like an enlightenment, I suppose. Because, especially when you follow through with why is an important driving force to finding out real answers. For example, if you just leave a religion or a cult, religion and cult, the same thing, but if you just quit a belief system, should I say, and you do nothing, you just leave. Your mind is a void at that stage, and it can be refilled with another faith-based system. If you have no questions that will fill that void, questions that can be answered with empirical evidence. But most importantly, you have to be willing to admit you were wrong. But how wrong you won't know. But you will have to admit the fact that you are wrong. You have to admit the truth is out there. And by the truth, I'm not talking about some superficial religious ideology. I mean the truth, reality. Reality is waiting out there. Science can teach you reality, but you don't need to learn science to understand reality. I believe knowing how people actually are, as opposed to how they are painted when you belong to a religion. I can give you a few examples here, right? Now, I'm not a scientist, but I've learned a few things about science, certain aspects of science. One thing that I learned, I suppose relatively recently, actually, was surrounding a certain type of ape. I think they're called the bonobos. I think they are very similar to chimpanzees. Muscular-wise, they are a little bit different. I think probably, arguably, a little bit stronger. Perhaps I can't remember now. One of the two is maybe it's the chimpanzee that's stronger than a bonobo. I don't remember now. But they are quite different when you look at them. Now, the bonobo is, if I've pronounced that right, is 100% bisexual. Okay, I want you to remember this. This is a scientific fact. It's observable. If you want to observe that thing, it is observable. I personally don't want to observe it, but there are researchers who have observed it, and it has been documented. It is well documented. Okay. You probably go to, if you have any doubts of that, you can go to myscholar.com and probably look at some paper written on this. You can even probably go to a Forbes website, a fact-checking website, Maybe they do, or Wikipedia. The resources here are quite wide. It is not political. It is very much a scientific fact. Now, I digress. The Bible teaches homosexuality to be wrong. I mean, from a moral standpoint. Now, this is within itself quite puzzling because the subject of homosexuality, although the word homosexuality didn't actually exist, first of all, within pages of the Bible when it was first written, because that word did not exist. It did not exist in Greek. And the earliest findings of anything to do with the Bible are, I'm afraid, in Greek. The actual words that were used, and my Greek is terrible. In fact, it is non-existent. All I can tell you, there are two words used, and the meanings of these words are quite literally to penetrate or be penetrated by. This is when referring to anal sex. And these were the two things that were sinful, so to speak, using this word, sinful, here. Not homosexuality, because of course a man can penetrate a woman's ass, and a woman can be penetrated by a man, through her, and so that is what the law was referring to. However, all that aside, technicalities. If bonobos, a thing that is God's creation, what is 100% bisexual, but it is wrong for human beings to do what they do, why? Why the double standard? And this is the thing. I mean, this is one thing, one puzzling thing for me, that it just seems, how can God have, if there is a God, how can a God have such standards? One set of standards for you, but for these animals, well, that's fine. Is either all okay or none of it's okay. He is absolutist after all. But is he? Does he exist? Well, I don't know. I've got to be honest, I'm probably more agnostic than I am atheist, but it feels very sus. It feels quite suspicious to me. Before I was very absolute. I was very, God exists. There was, we were all created by some everything is created by someone, and all things were created by God, and all of that. All of my arguments to support the existence of God seemed sound, but it would seem that science has a much more rational answer as to how all life on Earth got here. These stupid animals that you can see here, they are evolving. There is no question about it. I mean, they don't look like they're evolving because you don't see evolution in real. Well, evolution does happen in real time, but you don't see it with the naked eye unless you're looking through the lens of a microscope, and you're looking at a petri dish, looking at bacteria. Then you will see evolution happen in real time, at the most macro level. Science knows evolution as a thing. Religion misrepresents grotesquely what evolution is. It misrepresents it to the point where it tries to explain what it isn't, but as it is. But if it is, if you know what I mean. So, for example, religion will say, evolution is when one animal turns into a completely different animal. And while that is a thing that happens in evolution, that's not what evolution is by definition. Because, of course, there are creatures, there are animals that haven't really evolved in millions of years. I'll give you an example of this. The Portuguese man of war. The oldest living thing to exist, unchanged, up until now, pretty much. The Portuguese man of war has been probably around, 400 million years, something like that? I may be incorrect on that figure. It's you probably have to Google it, maybe, if you want, because you can find it on Google. Just Google it, you'll get the answer somewhere. This is when Google is handy, when it's not dealing with political matters. If you want to find out a political fact, Googling is not a good idea, because Google is a search engine, and it is, if you have a political ideal, you own the search engine. You're gonna disallow certain ideals to be not found with the search engine, or lost, or erased. That's why I don't like politics. But anyhow, I forgot what the hell I was talking about. I've got to get on with my job. See yous.